All right, get ready because we are about to dive into a theory that is so bizarre, so out there, it just might be brilliant. We're talking about a theory that connects your bank account to the very fabric of space-time, and it all kicks off with one simple question. If time is money, are ATMs actually time machines?
Just let that one sink in for a second. And no, this isn't just some clever wordplay or a fun little thought experiment. For the theory we're exploring today, this sentence is the absolute foundation. It's our rabbit hole into a completely different way of looking at banking, economics, and maybe even reality itself. So, that's really the question we're asking here, isn't it? Is there some kind of hidden, profound logic to all of this? Or is it just, completely off the rails? Well, let's break this thing down, piece by piece, and see if we can figure it out together.
To even begin to wrap our heads around this, we have to think beyond the usual three dimensions. The people who believe this theory argue that your standard economics class just isn't equipped to handle this idea.
That's right, fourth-dimensional finance. That's the term they came up with. The whole idea is that financial transactions aren't just about shuffling numbers around on a screen. No, they're about actually manipulating time. So yeah, we're going to have to put on our theoretical physicist hats for this one and dive into the mechanics.
So let's get into the real heart of this theory, where it starts to get, well, really weird. According to this model, every single time you walk up to an ATM, you're not just making a transaction. You are, in fact, doing something way more profound. The idea here is that the money you get from the machine, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a physical piece of the hours you worked. Your labor, your time gets converted into cash. So when you make that withdrawal, you're literally pulling that past effort, that spent time, right into your present moment.
And this just completely reframes the whole thing. What your bank statement calls a withdrawal, this theory, temporal finance, calls time travel. What we all see as just receiving cash, they see as visiting your paycheck's past. It's taking this totally mundane, everyday act and turning it into something straight out of science fiction.
That's a really good question. I mean, if ATMs are the vehicles for time travel, what role are the banks playing in all this? Are they just sitting on the sidelines? Oh, according to this theory, not a chance. In fact, they are central to the entire process.
Okay, so the logic kind of goes like this. When you deposit money, you're not just saving dollars and cents. You are banking your time, literally setting it aside for the person you're going to be in the future. And then, when you withdraw it, that future you is essentially reaching back in time to this exact moment to pick up what you saved for them. It's a transaction with yourself across time. Wild, right?
And of course, they have an explanation for interest. It's not some fee for borrowing money. Oh no, it's the time tax. It's the price you have to pay for the service of, manipulating the flow of time, for borrowing moments from your own future or past.
And hey, if you're going to have a time tax, you've got to have someone to enforce it, right? So in this worldview, banks aren't just financial institutions, they are the regulators of time itself. They are, quite literally, the time police.
Honestly, this might be my favorite part of the whole theory. You know those massive, super secure bank vaults? What's in them? Not gold bars, not stacks of cash. Nope, they store frozen seconds. You see, time in its physical form apparently has to be stored at just the right temperature, otherwise it would just decay. It's just such a beautifully absurd detail.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Because if we just go with this, if we accept the basic premise, the implications start to spiral out in some seriously wild directions. It starts affecting everything from how we get paid to how we think about wealth and poverty. Just think about a direct deposit for a second. The money just appears in your account, right? Sometimes it's there before you even wake up on payday. How does that happen? Well, the theory says it's not just an electronic transfer. It's pre-delivered time, sent back by your future self to confirm that, yep, you are in fact going to get paid. It's a message from the future.
And this is where it starts to get into some heavy social commentary. If time equals money, then being broke means you're literally time poor. And the wealthy? They're not just hoarding capital, they're time hoarders, locking away all their extra hours and days and years in digital vaults. And if you follow that logic all the way, it leads to the absolutely mind-bending conclusion that some of the wealthiest people on the planet are, for all intents and purposes, real-life Time Lords.
So, we've walked through the definitions, the mechanics, the completely wild implications, and now we've reached the end of the line. This is the moment where the theory presents its final and what it claims is its irrefutable proof.
Okay, let's just recap real quick to make sure we've got this straight. We've just laid out a world where everyday banking is basically a sci-fi epic. ATMs are time machines. Banks are the time police. And getting your paycheck is an act of temporal teleportation. I mean, it sounds completely insane when you say it all out loud like that, right?
And the answer you would get from a true believer in this theory? No hesitation. Not a blank, just a simple, confident, unwavering, correct. This isn't a metaphor to them. It's a literal description of how the world works.
So what is it? What's the final smoking gun, the ultimate proof for this entire grand theory? Well, it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, in a phrase we've all heard a million times. Every second, you're losing money. They claim this isn't about opportunity cost. It's the literal truth. Your time is draining away, and with it, your money. And that, they say, is checkmate.
And so I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. The next time you find yourself standing in front of one of those machines and you punch in your PIN and you hear that familiar whirring sound, just ask yourself, are you just getting some cash, or are you withdrawing a few precious moments from your own past?